24 hours of drama at the APC as a new NWC today confirms the resignation of National Chairman Abdullah Adamu and National Secretary Iyala Omishore. And the House of Representatives took the service chief through screening process today after they first faced the Senate. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimaloe in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know that President Bola Tinubu today returned to Nigeria from Kenya after attending the African Union meeting where he participated in the 5th mid-year coordination meeting of the African Union. The president departed Nairobi earlier today where he met with other leaders on the continent last weekend. At the AU meeting, the president on Sunday said Africa could not attain integration and prosperity while Africans languished in pain and anguish. And the House of Representatives screened the service chief recently appointed by President Bola Tinubu. The screening committee was led by the majority leader of the House, Honorable Julius Nyovere. The service chiefs include Major General Christopher Musa, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Taurid Lagwaja, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Hassan Habubakar, the Chief of Air Staff. The chairman of the ad hoc committee of the House, Honorable Babajimi Benson, says that members of the armed forces must adhere strictly to the provisions of the Appropriation Act and urge them to work in synergy by sharing intelligence. He further said that the performances of the service chiefs would be reviewed by the National Assembly if they are confirmed. Tonight, our attention is going to be mostly on what happened today at the APC. Now, there is a change of guard, albeit a very dramatic one. A lot of people say they didn't see it coming, but some of us knew what was going on. And when we had a conversation with the National Secretary, we said that there was crisis in the party. He said there was no crisis, that the party was as cool as an ocean. Well, now, the crisis is now in full steam. Now, we have an acting national chairman, an acting national secretary. We will see how all this happened today. It was from yesterday night that all of this was happening, and within 24 hours, a lot has changed in the APC. We'll get into that tonight. We'll show you what the law says. We should get you perspective, inner perspective on the intrigues and all of that. So stay around with me, everyone. But first, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
Some constitutional and human rights lawyers have filed a contempt case against the Director General of the Department of State Service, Mr. Yusuf Bichi, for what they described as a violation of multiple judgments and orders of court directing the release of the former Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, from the custody of the agency. Led by Mr. Maxwell Okpara, the lawyers are praying the court to commit the Director General of the DSS to prison. In their motion filed before the court for the issuance of Form 48 and Form 49, which are the forms to commence proceedings to commit him to prison, the lawyers said with 3 different judgments and orders, the DGDSS ought to have released Mr. Godwin Emefiele from detention. Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has sworn in Justice Matilda Ayemieye as the 4th substantive chief judge of the state after serving in acting capacity for about 6 months. The swearing-in ceremony took place at the Executive Council chambers of the Government House, Yenagoa, where the oath of allegiance and office were administered by the State Chief Registrar, Amebi Orukari. Performing the swearing-in ceremony, Senator Diri said her appointment is in accordance with the established practice and in line with Section 271, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
I have no doubt in my mind that you will carry out your duties with utmost diligence and integrity.
From Imo State, ahead of the November 11 governorship election, A coalition of critical stakeholders from Imo West Senatorial District have declared their support for the second-term ambition of Governor Hope Uzodinma as the governor of the state. At a press conference in Nkwere local government area of Imo State, the forum, comprising of all traditional rulers, president generals, serving and non-serving lawmakers and political appointees, as well as youth and women groups, reaffirmed their commitment and support for the re-election bid of Governor Hope Uzodinma, citing what they call his sterling performances within the last 3.5 years in office, especially in the area of infrastructure and human capital development.
And therefore, adopting as our sole and only governorship candidate ahead of the November 11, 2023 governorship election in Imo State.
The governor of Yobe State, Governor May Malabuni, has been asked to prioritize education, rural development, and the boosting of agricultural activities, which is the mainstay of over 70% of the population. The call was made by a network of civil society organizations and some residents of Yobe State who were setting the agenda for the governor as he begins his second term of 4 years in office. The Ogun State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has appealed to the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Gbetogun, to ensure the implementation of the findings of the investigation before the police by the party over alleged vote buying and snatching of ballot papers by the ruling APC. The party, through its chairman, Sikirulai Ogundele, made the appeal during a press briefing at the party's state secretariat in Abeokuta, the state capital. He alleged that the APC is attempting to suppress the report and distort the findings of the investigation ordered by the immediate past Inspector General of Police based on their petition dated May 2, 2023. He urged the Inspector General of Police to bring those who have committed criminal infractions to book.
All right, then let's get straight into it. Our major agenda tonight is about the leadership crisis in the All Progressives Congress APC. Now, the Deputy National Chairman North of the APC, Senator Abubakar Kyari, today has emerged as the party's national chairman. He was the one who announced that Senator Abdullah Adamu, the national chairman of the party, after a meeting of the National Working Committee of the party, had resigned. When briefing reporters today after the NWC meeting, Senator Kyari formally announced the resignation of both Senator Adamu and Senator Yolo Michere as the party's national chairman and the national secretary. Although we've not cited the resignation letters, but this is made public today after insinuations and rumor ran the air yesterday evening. Kyari further said that in line with the constitution of the APC, the Deputy National Secretary, Festus Fuanta, will serve as the acting National Secretary of the APC. He said, quote, as members of the National Working Committee of the APC, we are here to address you to the happenings and recent developments regarding the party. Some of those who are monitoring the process, some of our reporters say, they cited Senator Iyolo Michere, who was not part of the meeting and left at some point when the meeting had started. Let me allow you to listen to Senator Abubakar Kyari, the now acting national chairman of the APC.
NWC wishes to inform you the resignation of the national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, CON, and that of the national secretary, Senator Yola Omishore, CON. And with this development, and according to the Constitution of the All Progressive Congress, APC, it is now incumbent on my humble self, Senator Abubakar Kyari, as the Deputy National Chairman, North, to assume the office of the Acting National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC. And subsequently also, the Deputy National Secretary, Barrister Festus Fuanta, will will now assume the office of the acting National Secretary of the All Progressive Congress.
All right, then, let's get the conversation started tonight. There's what the constitution of the APC says about all of this. There is what is happening that you and I are not privy to, because some of us we're not members of the APC. We don't know what they say, but we know what we hear. So we'll discuss based on what we know and what we hear, probably get some insight from those who know. Tonight, I will also be speaking with someone who was one of those who drafted the constitution of the APC, a senior advocate of Nigeria and a former national legal advisor of the APC, Mr. Muiz Banire, SAN, who joins us live from Ikeja area of Lagos. Thank you so much, Lionel Sik, for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. And also, I have here with me a member of the APC, Mr. Alwan Hassan. He's here. He has his ears very close to the ground. Thank you so much, and as a passionate member of the APC.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Alwan, let me get to the Lionel Sik, and let's get some perspectives to this. Give us an understanding, Mr. Banire. Is it ordinary for a national chairman of the APC who says a few days ago that they've done their best for the APC, and anybody who wants to oust them is not being fair? And we had the National Secretary of the APC, Senator Yole Omishere, who says it's just only one dissenting voice within the NWC, and of course that there is nothing wrong with the APC and everything is as cool as the ocean. Those are his words. But how extraordinary could it be for a leader of a political party to resign on a day as this?
Well, certainly it's not ordinary at all. I believe that there must be some intrigues behind it, which is yet to be known to the people. But I'm sure that the members of AP, particularly the National Working Committee and the National Executive Council, will certainly know all that has gone on before the sudden resignation. And I tell you for free that it's so bad that even the APC constitution itself never contemplated resignation. That's why you hardly find a specific provision addressing the issue of resignation of the national officers. So for me, it's an unusual situation that must have been birthed by certain circumstances, which are not obvious to some of us now.
What do you suspect could be the problem?
Well, I've been reading Mr. Comrade Salu for some time. He's been raising a lot of issues, particularly bordering on maladministration of the party, misappropriation of funds, and so on and so forth. Well, that could be part of it, because I know, as a matter of fact, that in the NWC most times, those are usually issues that usually confront or challenges the body. So it's not unlikely that it's as a result of such issues that has been in the public space for some time now. Maybe it has reached its peak now and it couldn't be absorbed again. They probably reacted. I'm not too sure that the resignation would have been voluntary. In my view, I might be wrong. I probably believe that maybe the pressure of the other colleagues of theirs forced them eventually to tender their resignation.
Well, if you look at it, there are those who say Senator Abdullahi was not, did not support Senator Bola Tinubu at the primaries, which is one of those, the issue of loyalty. He supported Senator Hamel Lawan, but Senator Bola Tinubu emerged as a candidate of the APC. And there are those who believe that the political structure around the president is not comfortable with Senator Abdullah Adamu. And there are those who are accused the two men of high-handedness, and those who say, look, that they have gone on with the affairs of the party without carrying everybody along. Accusation, like you said, from Ms. Lukman, Salih Lukman, who says that they've not held any NEC meeting, and the Constitution stipulates a quota. In fact, sometimes as the chairman of the NWC didn't fit, and they've not held a national executive council meeting of the party in a long time. If this is happening, there are those who also have of the school of thought that this, in fact, is the easiest, the best, and the most honorable way to ease people you don't want in a political party office out of office. What is your view on that?
Well, I suspect it must be the latter situation. There's nothing the president will be gaining by getting rid of him, even if he did not support him at the initial stage. The reality of the situation of APC is that the president is usually the leader of the party. So there is hardly anything much that even his say could have impacted on the presidency. So I easily would discount that. But I believe that the latter situation in which the majority of the members of the NWC had gone through might have led to his exit.
So, but I mean, what does this mean for the party? This is a new government under Bola Tinubu. And you know him very well. You worked with him when he was governor. You were a commissioner under him in Lagos, so you understand him better. I mean, it's more, in fact, interesting that you have been a national legal advisor of the party, so you know what it means for a national leader of the party as a national chairman and a national secretary to resign voluntarily, and those who say they were forced out in a political manner. What does this mean? Is this an handwriting of the political sagacity of the Bola Tinubu? Is this the Bola Tinubu that you know that is in action?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Well, maybe the best I can say, whatever I say is speculative, to be candid, because if you say so, to a certain extent, you might be right in the sense that in such situations, certainly you need somebody who is committed to your ideas and loyal to your own objective to steer the party. But the reality of the matter, like I said earlier, is that honestly speaking, I do not see that really happening in this circumstance, because even if the Senator Adamu continue in office, hardly much he could do in the absence of the presidential directive. You saw what happened throughout the 8 years of President Buhari. Virtually all decisions, particularly during his second time, were subjected to his final decision. And that still remains the situation now, even within the context of the APC constitution. So I do not see any extra gain in even doing away with him. But one thing I know, as a matter of fact, is that personally, I've always felt that, honestly, some of these people that have found their way into the leadership or management of the party do not even have that competence or the capacity to lead a political party, particularly of such a stature like the APC. So it's not out of any political sagacity that one will attribute his exit to the handwriting of the president. That's my view.
And what the law says. Give us an understanding. There are several portions of the Constitution of the APC that you know that points at how a national officer like that could be eased out of office. One is by vote of no confidence. And let me show you the portion. I think it's Article 17 or so of the APC Constitution, which talks about the vote of no confidence, Article 17, yes, which said subject to the ratification by the National Convention or Congress, an officer shall be relieved of his post at any time if a vote of no confidence is passed on him by 2/3 of members of the relevant party organ. And pursuant to this section, where a vote of no confidence has been passed on an officer, the relevant party organ shall appoint another person to act in his place pending ratification by the National Convention or Congress. I couldn't lay my hand on anywhere where there is a voluntary resignation within the Constitution, but you are one of the drafters. Give us an understanding of the ramification of this kind of scenario.
Yes, like you rightly said, there is nowhere in the APC Constitution where resignation is contemplated at all. But I know that as at the time I left that office, we proposed some amendment which included that. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened, that it wasn't ultimately passed at the 2022 convention. So as of today, there's no provision for resignation in APC Constitution. So what has happened is somehow extraordinary. Again, that will now leave you with the gap again of what happened immediately the man resigned. Now we have the deputy national chairman not taking over the saddle. The only provision you can add on that is where under the functions or powers of the deputy national chairman for the South and North, which says that if the chairman is incapable of performing the function of his office or is in his absence, any of the deputies can act. That's the only provision under which they can ride on now, because there's no provision for situations such as resignation in the APC constitution. And who should the resignation itself be addressed to, and what will happen? All those are the lacuna that are apparent in the present APC constitution. So whatever that is happening now is being done by implication or by inference from other provision of the APC constitution.
You're making reference to Article 14, and let me show our viewers these. Let's reference those portion of the APC constitution. Article 14. First, so let's go to Article 14. I think 1, which talks about the deputy national chairman. Yeah, 14.2 now, which says that because there are 2 national chairmen in the party, one from the north and one from the south. There is two deputy national chairmen, one from the north, one from the south, and there are different vice chairmen in the party. But this is what the constitution of the APC says about the how the powers should be transmitted. Now, if you look at it, Lenelsik, give us an understanding of what you make of it. There is a relevant one, 14.2. It says that well, of course, let me read the portion. It said, shall act as a national chairman, that is 14.2.3, subsection 3, says, shall act as a national chairman in the absence of the national chairman from his zone. So whatever was done today, where we asked Senator Kiari, it was trite, isn't it?
Pardon?
I said for Senator Kiari, who is the deputy national chairman of the party North, taking over from Senator Abdullah Adamu was right, legally.
Well, I'm not too sure if you want to interpret the provision strictly, because the suggestion from that particular provision is that the person must come from that particular zone where the man has resisted, which means that the successor must come from the North Central. Senator Kiari, I know, is from Northeast, not from North Central. So you can't run into sort of a legal obstacle there.
But let us say, there are only 2 national chairmen, and deputy national chairman. Yes. One from the north, one from the south. Yes. So the one from the north is one who has taken over from him.
Yes.
Yes. He's representing all the 3 zones.
Except you want to control. Yes, that's why I'm saying that if you want to construe the word zone in that context to be a region, maybe northern region, we have the southern, we have the northern. Yeah. But if you are talking about zone, there are 6 zones that we have in the country. So if you want to go strictly by zoning, then it would mean that the person must come from the North Central, which is an impossibility in this circumstance because, like you rightly observed, there are only 2 deputy national chairmen, one from the south and one from the north. So we just take it that what the Constitution means by zone is region, in which event it then means that from the northern part of the country.
All right. So there are regional deputy national chairmen. But I will bring you to that interesting part. The deputy national secretary, which is the Article 14.4 of the APC constitution, which talks about that the deputy national secretary will also take over and perform such function as may be assigned, and went further that he will be taken over from the national secretary in his absence and discharge such duties. That's Article 14.4 of the APC constitution. But if you look at it, there are those who argue that, let me show you this map, Mr. Banire, and this is a spread and our own understanding of how things are right now. And we do know that the issue of federal character is always captured. And I'm not sure that your constitution makes reference to issues of federal character, zoning in your constitution. I'm not sure. I've tried to read it and I've not found anything like that. But based on
the beginning, no, it does.
Yes, the beginning of your part.
I think that should be.
Yeah, it was a preamble, an omnibus. It wasn't specific.
Right.
It was an omnibus clause there, which wasn't specific as to power sharing. It just talks about inclusion. But let me show you these, Mr. Banner. The president from the southwest region of the country, the vice president from the northeast. Now we have the Senate president from the south-south, the speaker from the northwest, and we have the SGF from the north central. Already the Mbatu national chairman is from the north central. These are key national positions, and the issue of federal character principle. Is the party in some kind of quagmire? Do they need to readjust or to recalibrate based on the permutation that there is an SGF from the North Central? Can you have such a powerful position in the party from the same zone as the national chairman position? Or what then happens now that we have acting national chairman of the APC?
Well, strictly speaking, there is nothing wrong in having the SGF and the national chairman from the North Central, because they are two different issues. Of course, the office of the SGF is a public office as opposed to the political party office of the chairman. And the zoning in the party does not necessarily have to be the same thing with that of the government. Most times, it's usually the government that calibrates its own zoning system, while the party also does its own. The only thing that must happen, however, in the circumstance that the APC is now, is that there must be an emergency convention to quickly address the challenge of the zoning within the party, in which event that we cannot continue to have somebody from the vice chairman, the vice president from the Northeast, and you have the party chairman from the Northeast. That might not be too tidy. In that sense, they might have to do another convention through which they will elect a new national chairman from another zone. The same thing will apply certainly to the national secretary also of the party. That is the way the balancing is done.
All right. Please stick with me for a moment, because I still need to take your view on some very key national issues under the Tinubu presidency. But let me come to you quickly, Mr. Alwan. What is going on in your party?
There's nothing going on.
Really?
Yeah. We're fine.
Why do you politicians behave this manner?
No, but we are finding it very easy now for a chairman to ouster. He resigned by himself. It's good that he's mature to know when to leave. There was no drama.
Do you think he's by his own volition?
Give an example.
Do you think it's by his own volition? I mean, on his own
of course,
volition.
whatever it is, even if it's pressure, this time around we have him go soft. There was no drama. Nobody went to court. 2-3 years ago, you and I were arguing on where, how, or the chairman must leave. But there is no argument. The NWC, a few people from the NWC understood that there is no accountability. They don't have confidence in him. You know, some few statements out. And he saw that it was time for him to leave, and he left. So I think it's mature for him and mature for APC. I think what we need to just look at is the going forward. You know, the party needs to use this opportunity to reform itself. We need to do a lot of reforms. Every party in Nigeria just waits for elections. There are no party activities. We just don't need to be waiting for elections. The party needs to be enhanced. In fact, we need to have that spread of when there is a call for direct primaries. Anybody that is coming to my ward for a direct primary should be somebody I know. So, but how do you do that? Is to make people go back to their wards and have ward meeting for the party. Like two weeks, 1 month, 3 months, at least once in a quarter. Let's see the president go to Lagos in his ward and having a meeting with his ward people. So that when it's the case of direct primaries, we don't need to start saying this is PDP or this is not APC. We will know ourselves.
Alwan, let me allow you, because it's difficult to believe what you politicians say these days, because when you say it's raining, we need to really go and check.
You know I'm a different politician.
You know the reason why I'm saying that? because there was an idea. Why? I mean, I wonder what you people see as crisis. I mean, you politicians must have a different. Maybe your heart is being wire meshed such that
But
it has a lot.
there is no crisis, Shehu.
Okay, do you think? I mean,
We didn't go to court.
Have you
APC
seen,
was going to court.
Have you seen the statement that was made by the national chairman, Senator Abdullah Adam, who was talking about it doesn't look like the man who voluntarily resigned.
Whatever it is.
Okay, let me allow you to listen. Just for a moment. Let me allow you to listen to my conversation with Senator Iyele Omisore. And at that time, don't forget everyone.
I watched it live.
You watched it very well. Now, don't forget everyone that Mr. Salihu Lukman was on this program where he talked about the issue in the party. This is about a month ago, several weeks ago. And several weeks after, this is coming. And we saw it happening until Senator Iyele Omisore came on the program. When I asked him, what is really happening in your party? This was his response.
No iota of truth in that speculation or permutation. Build up to the election, we had primaries. In political parties all over the world, there's all the internal democracy primaries. Every individual must have a choice among the aspirants. The moment it kind of emerges from a party, that emerge from a process, everybody of that party becomes the member of that group. So the issue of Adamu supporting somebody, it becomes a non-issue. We are just trying to play the old game. We are moved far from that a long time ago. And basically, everybody is working together as one. Adamu Abdullahi, our chairman, went around the campaign with the president, Tinubu now. So what about it? So all these things are just saying, they're just imaginations of the opposition or jobbers.
These are the issues coming out of your own party that I'm putting to you.
We are not aware. Especially,
that's why I say sometimes when you stay upstairs, you may not know whether there's fire burning.
Let it die under. Let fire die. Fire burning, and
before
die.
You know it, it's coming upstairs.
It's not coming. You are not seeing any smoke at all.
Are you still seeing smoke or not right now?
No, but I don't agree with what he said about party chairman has the right to support an aspirant before the primaries. It's like seeing an umpire taking side.
Even when the president
the party was the umpire.
Even when the president directed and said, go and support this also.
But the president denied. The former president denied. So whatever it is, even if he had directed him, he has pushed.
So was he a gang up anyways?
Gang up by?
I mean, in favor of
what I am saying is,
Lawan
in favor of Lawan.
Senator Lawan.
No, but whatever it is, Asiwaju won the primaries and won the general elections. Whatever it is. But for a party chairman to have come out, Shehu, to support an aspirant before the primaries the party is conducting, I think after that election was announced that Asiwaju became the candidate, what the party chairman needed to do was just to take the part of honor and resign as a then. We don't need to take such a person to the general election, the general campaigns and elections, because all the problems they are having is it was due to the campaigns and funding and not funding the states. The state party chairman are complaining they don't know where 32 billion or 31 billion had gone to, and what they have in the accounts is just 7 billion, So can anybody account for 24 billion naira?
So it's a matter of administration and accountability.
Absolutely. Accountability and transparency.
Give me a moment. Let's go on a break. Lionel's sake, I'm coming to you in a moment so that we can wrap up with you. I know you have an engagement that you need to attend to, but just give me a moment. We'll go on a break, and when we come back, there's so much more to talk about because there are some aspects that I will unveil for my guests to weigh in on. We'll be right back, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. And we have been discussing the issues and the leadership crises within the APC. We have Mr. Muiz Banira, a former national legal advisor of the APC, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who's been speaking with us and giving perspectives on this matter from Lagos. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Banira, for talking to us. And of course, Alwan Hassan, a passionate member of the APC, is also here with me in our Abuja studio. But I understand that Mr. Banira needs to run along for some appointments. But let me quickly, one question on how do you think the party should go forward from here? Because there are those who will ask the question, PDP Uche Secondus would have been the very first national chairman of PDP to have spent 4 full years in office. A few days to the end of his tenure, he was ousted, he was removed from office. Now, from the days of Audu Ogbe and his issues with former President Obasanjo, up until Secondus, up until Ayu, Senator Yocha Ayu, who is now, there is an acting national chairman in the PDP. You go to the APC, similar thing is happening. From the days of John Oyegun, he didn't quite spend his time to Senator.
He spent 4 years.
He spent 4 years. Good, yeah. Adams Oshiomhole, he didn't conclude. Then we have Senator Abdullah Adamu. There are a lot of those who will ask, what is wrong with national chairmanship position of political parties?
Well, I think most times when people get into that particular, they get to be unduly dictatorial, and that usually spells their doom, because it's supposed to be a collegiate decision-making organ, that is the National Working Committee. But when you find a situation where the chairman of the body, that is the LWC, becomes dictatorial, it's not likely that it lasts long, particularly if it doesn't have the support of the presidency, because whether you like it or not, pragmatically, the president of the country, particularly in the ruling party, is the leader of the party at a large extent, way more influence than virtually all the members of the NWC. So, except he enjoys that confidence of the president and that of his colleagues, is not likely to last. And that has been a source of the acrimony and the exit of most of them. So the way to go is usually to find a way in which people coming must know that it's not their decision alone that counts. It's a situation where all matters must be subjected to debate and dialogue and consultation before decisions or resolutions are taken. And I think in this instance, if you have been following, like you rightly recall, Comrade Saliu Lukman has been bringing up issues upon issues in respect of the way the party is being administered. And at the end of the day, it's not, for me, it's not surprising that eventually the man had to exit in an unceremonious manner like this.
I mean, there are those who believe that if the party does not deal with this matter fast enough, it might consume it. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree at all. I don't agree, particularly knowing the pedigree of the president himself. Usually, the last time you referenced his political sagacity, which I can I endorse fully, that I can confirm to you, that certainly that will not happen in this instance. If it had been under the former administration, I have said that would be that possibility. But in this instance, I know that it can't happen. I'm so sure about it. I'm confident about that.
What do you think they should do immediately?
Well, what they need to do again is to start putting in place the process of an emergency convention for the purpose of electing new national chairman, new national secretary. That must happen as a matter of urgency, because again, the APC constitution does not make provision for the tenure of acting officers. So somehow, technically, they can act forever, but it's not in the interest of the party to retain the people that are acting now, particularly in view of their zoning system. So the immediate thing to start doing now is to engage in consultation. And you know, the process of emergency will start from the state level through the zone, now to the national, before it eventually ends up with the convention. So they must trigger that process as a matter of urgency now, so that in the next maximum 3 to 6 months at worst, there must be a convention to replace those national officers.
Let me allow you go, but quickly to digress and just in 60. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Oh dear. All right. Let me come to you, Mr. Alwan. With what we are saying, definitely there needs to be a national convention to bring in a fresh person. And I assume that that person will also be from the same zone as Senator Abdullah Adamu to use up the remainder of Senator Abdullah Adamu's tenure. Is it?
Yeah, sure. The NEC will definitely start the process. And just as San has said, Mr. Muiz Banire, it starts from the local government to the state, then national. So the process needs to start now so that we can achieve that in the next 3 to 6 months.
Do you think that's the reason why the NWC today had moved and reached dismissed the already planned, because the next meeting was supposed to happen next week.
No, on the 18th, next tomorrow.
Yes, it was supposed to happen in another few days. Yeah.
So yeah, of course, sure. But there shouldn't be vacuum in such leadership positions. But I think that was why they had to swift in and give an acting chairman and now suspend for now, not indefinitely. Just listen to the acting chairman. He said it's been suspended for now. Then because, of course, all the plans for the NEC by the chairman stepping aside would have to change too. So maybe some people that were planning the NEC to ask for accountability and all those. So I think it's over for now. But of course, I advise that we should probe that same process that took him out, at least so that we don't have a recurrence in future. You know, people cannot just come into the party and you find out that billions are missing, and as soon as they resign
there is an auditor of the party.
Yes.
And the party summit is...
Everybody that is involved in that process should answer a question. There is no way 24 to 25 billion...
The party summit is financials after election to INEC. INEC superintend the administration of funding.
So this is all where the problem is. This is all where the problem is. This party, as it is headed by Abdullahi Adamu, has not financed any of our campaigns and our elections.
But the man said they were the one who led the campaign and they won the election for the APC.
The party or he?
He led by, the party led by him.
So let him come and give accounts for who he gave money. That he spent 24 billion naira. We need to just hear from him. Because his own fellow people in the NWC are saying, account for this. And he's saying they use that money to win the elections. Let him come up and give accounts.
The party need a strong leadership.
Absolutely.
And I'm hearing now
that fatherly leadership.
So I'm hearing now that the party says, oh, they want someone who is mobile, who
can do. Mobile.
Who are you hearing that are achieving for this kind of job?
It's not mobile per se. You asked
Mr.
Banire on who and what transpired in all the political parties, that as if it's a cause on that chair. I think, to me, my opinion is we never were lucky. The both parties, so I'll speak for APC, I won't speak for PDP. The party APC has never had a stakeholder manager in that office. If we had a good stakeholder manager and someone that is committed to building the party vis-a-vis the ideals of the government in place, I think we could have succeeded and we wouldn't be having resignation or court cases on this same issue. Of course, we've had one that was a little bit fair, that had, if you look at his spendings, we saw for the first time the party giving senators and reps money for campaigns and elections. This was Comrade Adams Oshomole in his own time. So he has done something that at least we should follow, And a few of them, when you look at them, they are not totally bad. It's just as San has said, when they come in, they get that arrogance and become out of hands.
Just a moment, I'm coming so that you will be the one to wrap us up. But there is, I don't know if Mr. Banire is still with us, but just quickly.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I wanted to get your view on this palliative under the Tinubu presidency. The National Assembly approved the 819.5 billion for the 2023 supplementary budget with allocations for different sectors. The budget set aside 500 billion as a provision for fuel subsidy removal to Nigerians. The Ministry of Work at 185 billion, Ministry of Agriculture 19 billion, the National Judicial Council 35 billion, FCTA project 10 billion. The new National Assembly members will get 70 billion. A lot of Nigerians have been questioning that. The setup also yesterday has said they cannot buy vehicles. Now, Nigeria does not have the money. What's your view? And it seems attention is on the National Assembly and the proposed funds to go to them.
But to be candid, I do not understand the decomposition of those figures. But if, for example, you take the National Assembly, for example, to spend 70 billion as palliative, I don't know who and for what purpose is it meant for. Is it meant for the senators or for the staff? And what are they to do with it? Are they to share it? That I do not understand at all. And I think that what we are still awaiting is actually the composition of those figures. Take the National Judicial Council also 35 billion, something like that. I can't remember the exact figure, but if they have 35 billion, is the money meant for the judges as palliative, or is meant for infrastructural improvement, or is meant for the judiciary staff? So we need to have more information. For now, I think we are still in darkness about it. The whole thing is still cloudy. I don't know, honestly speaking, but I believe that it shouldn't be chair and chair alike situation at all.
All right, let's wrap up with you now, Mr. Hassan. Where do you think your party should go? How careful should the president be? It's like a banana peel, the administration of political party and its affairs.
He is very careful, and I'm telling you and I assure you, you get it right with this, with the party and with the government. He is very careful. He's a politician. I think he's the first person in. He's the first politician that has ever been president in this country. And he's very careful. Of course, yes, he knows his onions in politics and he knows his onions in governance. So he'll surely get it right.
In 30 seconds, there are those who say, look, everyone who has politically been in the way of Bola Tinubu within the APC will find the way to the door. And is it the beginning of what will happen in the coming days?
I don't understand what you mean by that, but whatever it is, you mean anybody that is in the party?
There are those who say, Mr. Emefiele, Mr. Bawa, and now we say...
Is Bawa partisan?
No, but there are those who, some of your party members have been speaking up about that they were in their way in winning the election.
Yeah, but of course, if you ask me, Seun,
could this be a payback time?
A lot of them should have gone by now. He's even a nice person. The president is a nice person. A lot of people worked against us in the campaigns, and they are still in the position of power.
And is it one of the reasons why he also dissolved the boards of parastatals?
Every government comes in with its own people. He has his own people to put in places he knows, not cater, to put in places he knows that they will give best services.
So this could be the beginning of some political minuses, subtractions, and
that is what we want to see. Yeah, we want to see new people.
So heads will roll.
We want to see new people. Is that the case? Of course, yes. This is what we want to see. I don't want to speak for the president or the government because I am not the spokesperson. But this is what we want to see. Heads should roll. People that have made mistakes should leave. People that have made some financial miscalculations should come and account for those funds.
Alwan Hassan, member of the APC, thank you so much indeed, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And Mr. Muiz Banire, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and a former National Legal Advisor of the APC, I sincerely thank you. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much for your insight tonight. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching tonight. That's our beat for this time. I'll see you tomorrow again at 7 p.m. God bless Nigeria.